Good evening, beloved. There is a day that every soul must face, a day beyond the veil of this life. It will not be like the days you have known. There will be no sunlight, no moonlight, no ticking clock, for time itself will have ceased. There will be no crowd to hide in, no noise to drown the silence, no mask to wear. It will be you and him, the one whose eyes are like fire, the one whose voice once spoke creation into being, the one who knows you better than you have ever known yourself. And on that day he will ask you questions that pierce deeper than any sword, questions that will strip away every excuse, every pretense, every disguise. The first question, do I know you? Not do you know me, for many can say they know his name. But he will ask, do I know you? Have you walked with him in truth, or only spoken of him from a distance? Did your lips honor him while your heart was far away? Did you live as one who belonged to him, or did you keep him at the door? On that day, no title, no ministry, no works will answer for you, only the life you lived in his presence, the intimacy you shared, the relationship you forged in the secret place. For it is not religion that opens the gates of eternity, it is relationship. The second question, what did you do with what I gave you? Your life was not an accident. Every breath, every gift, every opportunity was entrusted to you. Did you bury what he placed in your hands? Did you use your time for yourself alone, or did you pour it out for his kingdom? Did you turn the blessings he gave into light for others, or did you hide them away? The talents were not given for comfort, they were given for battle, for sowing seed, for building the harvest. On that day, he will not measure you against another, he will measure you against what you could have been if you had surrendered all. The third question, whom did you love? And not just in word, but in truth. Did you love him above all else? Did you love his people, even the ones who wounded you? Did you love the lost enough to speak when it was easier to remain silent? Did you choose love when the world chose hate? For love is the mark of the kingdom, the currency of eternity. And if your life was built on anything else, ambition, pride, self, it will be burned away like chaff before the wind. Beloved, these questions are not for that day only, they are for this day. For you will not be able to change your answer once you stand before him. The answers are being written now, with every choice you make, with every word you speak, with every secret of your heart. The day of answering is coming, and the King is at the door. So live as if you were standing there now. Walk with him so closely that he cannot say, I never knew you. Take what he has given you and multiply it for his glory. Love him with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and love others as he has loved you. For then, when that day comes and the questions are asked, you will see his eyes soften, his voice fill with joy, and you will hear the words for which all creation longs. True relationship over religion on Judgment Day, the first and most vital question will be about intimacy with Christ, not mere knowledge of him. On that day, the question will not be, did you know about me? It will not be about whether you could recite verses, attend services, or speak of faith in the presence of others. The question will be far more piercing, far more intimate. Do I know you? These words will not be asked out of ignorance, for the one who speaks them is the one who knows all things. Rather, they will be asked to reveal the truth of your heart, to lay bare the reality of your life before his throne. Many will have spoken his name, many will have sung his praises, many will have claimed to walk in his ways, yet they will stand there and realize that they never truly belonged to him. They knew of him, but they did not know him. They talked about him, but they never walked with him. They honored him with their lips while their hearts pursued other loves. Relationship is not built on occasional recognition. It is not built on fleeting moments of prayer when life becomes hard or sudden cries for help in times of trouble. Relationship is born in the quiet, in the secret place, in the surrender of the heart day after day. When he asks, do I know you? He is asking if you invited him into the depths of your life, into the joys and into the struggles, into the secret thoughts and into the public actions. Did you make him part of your every step, or was he only a distant figure you acknowledged when it was convenient? Think of a friend. A true friend knows your voice even without seeing your face, knows your manner of speaking, knows your heart in a way that no stranger could. How does that happen? Through time, through sharing, through walking together. If we give so much effort to knowing and being known by those on earth, how much more should we pour into being known by the one who holds our eternity? On Judgment Day, religious labels will not answer for you. Titles will not speak in your defense. The respect of others will not matter. The question will be personal between you and him alone. The danger lies in mistaking religion for relationship. It is possible to go to the house of God every week and yet never bring God into the house of your heart. It is possible to work in ministry and yet keep the Lord outside your personal life. It is possible to speak of faith with conviction and yet live in a way that denies him in the daily choices you make. He does not ask whether you stood in the right building or joined the right group. He asks whether your heart was his home. When he says, "Do I know you?" he is searching for the evidence of intimacy. Did you walk in his ways not because you feared punishment, but because you loved him? Did you obey not from obligation, but from devotion? Did you seek his presence because you could not bear to be apart from him, or did you visit only when it fit your schedule? On that day, it will be clear whether he was your first love or merely one of many interests. The words, "I never knew you," are among the most solemn in all of Scripture. They are not spoken to strangers who never heard his name, but to those who believe themselves to be his own. They are words that cut through self, deception, exposing the truth that a name without a relationship is empty. The wise understand this now and live to be known by him, to walk with him so closely that his voice is as familiar as the beating of their own heart. To be known by him is to let him transform you. It is to allow his Spirit to shape your words, your actions, your thoughts, even your desires. It is to be transparent before him, to confess your sins, to surrender your plans, to let him direct your steps. It is to walk in such a way that when you stand before him, there will be no need for introductions because you have been walking together all along. So do not wait for that day to realize the truth. Seek him now. Speak with him in the morning and in the evening. Invite him into every decision, every challenge, every moment. Let him be your companion, your counselor, your comfort, and your king. Live not just knowing about him, but living as one who is fully known by him. For then, when he looks into your eyes on that great and final day, the question will not be a test of your heart, it will be the opening to joy. And instead of "I never knew you," you will hear the words your soul was created to hear. "I have always known you. You are mine." Stewardship of God's gifts, every talent, resource, and opportunity given by God carries eternal responsibility. On that day, when the question is asked, "What did you do with what I gave you?" it will not be a casual inquiry. It will be the unveiling of a life, the accounting of a trust, the weighing of the treasures placed in your hands. For nothing you have in this life, not your time, not your abilities, not your influence, not even the very breath in your lungs is truly your own. All of it was given by him, entrusted to you for a purpose beyond yourself. On Judgment Day, the measure will not be of how much you received, but of how you used what you were given. From the moment you entered this world, heaven invested in you. Your talents, whether many or few, were placed within you as seeds meant to grow. Opportunities came your way, moments that could have been used to shine light into darkness, to speak truth into deception, to show love where it was lacking. Even the trials you faced were not meaningless. They were places where faith could be refined, where perseverance could inspire others, where your response could glorify God. But the question will come, did you bury what you had, or did you multiply it? The parable of the talents is not just a story, it is a mirror. In that parable, the master gave to each servant according to their ability. One received 5 talents, another 2, another 1. When he returned, he asked for an account. The first 2 had worked faithfully, doubling what they had been given. The master's response was full of joy. "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." But the one who had received only 1 talent buried it in the ground, giving back exactly what he had been given. And to him the master's words were heavy with judgment. Why? Because God is not looking for you to simply preserve what you have. He is looking for you to invest it in his kingdom. To hide what he gave you is to live for yourself, to fear risk more than you desire to please him, to choose comfort over calling. Many will say, "But I had little, Lord. I was not as gifted, not as capable as others." Yet the master never asked for the same result from each servant only for faithfulness. What mattered was not the amount they started with, but their willingness to use it for his purposes. Think about your own life. The breath you take each morning is a gift. The relationships you have, the skills you possess, the The resources within your reach, all of these, are tools placed in your hands for the building of something eternal. Did you use your words to encourage the weary or to tear down? Did you use your home to show hospitality, or did you close its doors to those in need? Did you take the truth you knew and share it with those in darkness, or did you keep it to yourself because you feared rejection? Every choice is a deposit into eternity or a loss of what could have been. On that day, there will be no comparison with another's journey. You will not be judged by what someone else did with their life, but by what you did with yours. The question will be personal. I gave you time, how did you spend it? I gave you influence, how did you use it? I gave you resources, where did you sow them? I gave you truth, did you speak it or hide it? These questions are not meant to condemn now, but to awaken you before that day comes. There is still time to take what has been entrusted to you and put it to work for His glory. The smallest act of faith, the quietest word of encouragement, the unseen prayer offered in the night, all of these matter in the kingdom. The Master delights in faithfulness, not in size or spectacle. The widow's 2 coins were worth more in His sight than the gold of the wealthy, because she gave all she had. The cup of cold water given in His name is recorded in heaven as a treasure. Do not bury your gifts in the ground of fear, laziness, or selfishness. Life is short, but eternity is long, and the return of the Master is certain. The day will come when you will place your life's work in His hands. Make it a life you can present with joy, knowing that you poured yourself out for Him. For then, when He asks, "What did you do with what I gave you?" your answer will not be met with silence or shame, but with the smile of the one you have served, and with the words that echo into forever, "Well done." The test of love, the defining mark of the believer, will be love for God, for others, and even for enemies. On that day, the question will come with a weight unlike any other. Whom did you love? It will not be a question about fleeting feelings or shallow affection. It will cut to the very core of your existence, for love is the truest evidence of belonging to Him. All the works you performed, all the truths you spoke, all the sacrifices you made, if they were not born out of love, they will crumble like ash before the fire of His gaze. Love is not an accessory to faith. It is the very heartbeat of it. Without it, the greatest acts mean nothing. When He asks, "Whom did you love?" He will not be searching for a list of names. He will be searching for proof that your heart reflected His own. Did you love Him above all else, not merely in words, but in the ordering of your life? Did you love Him enough to obey when obedience cost you comfort, reputation, or security? Did you love Him enough to trust Him when the path was dark and your heart was heavy? To love Him is not simply to feel a stirring in worship. It is to choose Him daily over the voices and temptations that pull you away. But His question will reach further still. Did you love others? This is the true test of His life in you. It is easy to love those who agree with you, those who treat you well, those who fit comfortably into your world. But love in the kingdom is tested in the hard places, in the moments you must forgive the one who wounded you, in the choice to show kindness to the one who speaks against you, in the act of meeting the need of someone who can give you nothing in return. The measure is not in how you love the lovable, but in how you love the difficult. He will ask, did you love the lost enough to go after them? Love is not silent when souls are perishing. Love risks rejection, discomfort, and even hostility to speak truth that can save. If you saw someone walking toward a cliff, love would not watch silently from a distance. It would run, it would cry out, it would do everything to turn them from destruction. So too, the lost in this world walk toward an eternity without Him. Did you love them enough to pray for them, to speak to them, to live in a way that showed them the reality of His grace? This love is not a feeling we manufacture on our own. It flows from the one who first loved us, the one who loved when we were still His enemies, the one who bore our sin, the one who gave His life when we could offer nothing in return. To know Him is to be transformed by that love until it overflows to others. If it does not flow, then something in the connection is broken. The love we give is the evidence that His life is in us. When He asks, whom did you love? He will be looking at how you used your time, your words, your actions. Love is expressed in choices, in how you treated those beneath your status, in how you spoke about those who could not defend themselves, in how you served when there was no recognition to be gained. It is in the patience you showed to the slow, the compassion you offered to the weak, the grace you extended to the sinner who kept falling yet kept returning. And make no mistake, this question will not be answered with memories of warm feelings. It will be answered with the record of your life. Every act of love is a deposit in eternity. Every act of selfishness a debt to be revealed. When the books are opened, the truth will be clear. The hungry you fed, the thirsty you gave drink, the stranger you welcomed, the prisoner you visited, all of these will speak for you. And the moments you turned away, the times you chose bitterness over forgiveness, the opportunities to love that you let pass, they too will be brought to light. But even now, it is not too late to live your answer. The day of questioning has not yet come, and love can still be chosen. Love him first, and his love will fill you until it overflows into every relationship, every conversation, every action. Choose to love even when it costs you, even when it hurts, even when the world tells you it is foolish. For on that day, when you stand before him and the question is asked, "Whom did you love?" may your life itself rise as the answer, and may his eyes shine with joy as he calls you one who loved as he loved. Present choices shape eternal answers. The answers to Judgment Day's questions are being written now by how we live daily. Every day of your life is a page being written in the book that will be opened on that final day. The choices you make now, in the quiet of your heart and in the public view, are forming the answers you will give when you stand before him. The question, "Present choices shape eternal answers," is not a distant theory. It is the reality of the life you are living right now. Judgment Day will not be a moment where you suddenly invent a defense or construct a new story. It will be the revealing of the story you have already told with your actions, your priorities, and your loves. What you choose today echoes in eternity. When you decide whether to speak truth or remain silent, whether to forgive or hold on to bitterness, whether to obey his voice or follow your own way, you are shaping your eternal response. You are deciding, moment by moment, whether you are living for yourself or for him. Many think they will sort it all out later, that they will have time to change before the end. But life does not promise you tomorrow, and the character you form now will be the one you carry into that final meeting. Every small decision matters. The way you treat the unseen, the unnoticed, the unimportant in the world's eyes, all of it is recorded. The time you invest in seeking his presence rather than chasing after distractions. The sacrifices you make for the sake of his kingdom rather than for personal gain. The words you speak in love rather than in pride, these choices become the foundation of your testimony before him. When you live as though the day is far away, you begin to compromise, thinking one small choice does not matter. But when you live with the awareness that the day is near, every moment becomes sacred. Consider the parable of the wise and foolish virgins. They were all waiting for the bridegroom, but only some kept their lamps full of oil. The difference was not in their outward appearance, but in the choices they made in the waiting. The foolish lived as though the delay meant they had time to prepare later. The wise lived as though the bridegroom could arrive at any moment, and their readiness was the result of many small decisions made day after day. When the call came, the wise were ready, and the foolish were shut out. So it will be with those who think they can postpone obedience. The truth is that the great questions of Judgment Day are being answered long before you arrive there. The question, "Do I know you?" is being answered in whether you seek him now. The question, "What did you do with what I gave you?" is being answered in how you use your resources now. The question, "Whom did you love?" is being answered in how you treat those around you now. You are not simply waiting for the day, you are rehearsing for it with every choice you make. When you choose to live for the moment, you trade the eternal for the temporary. You may gain pleasure, comfort, or applause in this life, but these things will vanish like smoke in the presence of the King. When you choose to live for eternity, you may lose in the eyes of the world, but you are storing treasure in heaven, where nothing can destroy it. This is the reality that must govern your choices. The day is coming when the hidden will be revealed, the temporary will be burned away, and only what was done for him will remain. Your present choices are a declaration of your allegiance. They show whether you belong to the kingdom of light or the kingdom of darkness. They reveal whether you are preparing for the return of the Master or living as though he will never come. Each act of obedience is a step toward hearing "well done." Each act of disobedience is a step toward regret. You cannot rewrite your life in the final hour, you can only reveal it. Therefore, live now with the urgency of eternity. Let every decision be weighed against the question, will this stand in his presence? Let your words, your thoughts, and your actions be shaped by the reality that you will give an account. For the day is not as far as it seems, and the one who will ask the questions is already watching the answers you are giving. Choose well now, so that when you stand before him, your life will speak for you and your choices will testify that you lived with the day in sight. Living with eternity in view, a life prepared for those questions is a life lived in surrender, service, and sacrificial love. To live with eternity in view is to see this life for what it truly is: a breath, a shadow, a brief journey that leads to a final and unending destination. Every step you take here is on a road that leads to one of two eternities, and the choices you make along the way determine which path you walk. The question is not whether the end will come, but whether you are living now in the light of that end. When the Lord asks you on that day about your life, the way you lived will reveal whether you believed eternity was real or whether you treated it as a distant idea that could be ignored until later. Living with eternity in view changes everything. It shifts your priorities because what matters for a moment loses its grip when compared to what matters forever. Fame fades, wealth passes, beauty withers, achievements are forgotten, but the treasures laid up in heaven remain. When you see your life through the lens of eternity, you stop measuring it by the comfort you enjoy or the applause you receive, and you start measuring it by the fruit it bears for the kingdom. You begin to live not for the next weekend, but for the next world. It means surrendering the illusion that you are in control of your time. The truth is that none of us know how many days are written for us. The clock of your life is hidden in heaven, and it could stop without warning. When you live as though tomorrow is guaranteed, you waste today on things that will not matter when you stand before him. But when you live as though eternity could begin at any moment, you invest today in things that will last forever, in loving God with all your heart, in loving others deeply, in serving faithfully, in walking in obedience. Eternity in view means your trials look different too. The burdens of this life may be heavy, but they are temporary. The sufferings you endure now are producing a glory that will far outweigh them all. When you know that every hardship faced for his sake will be redeemed and rewarded, you can endure with hope. You will not waste your pain, but you will use it to draw nearer to him, to encourage others, to become more like the one you will spend eternity with. It also changes how you handle sin and temptation. When you forget eternity, sin seems small, compromise seems harmless, and disobedience feels like something you can fix later. But when eternity is before your eyes, you see sin for what it is: a thief that robs you of joy now and reward later, a weight that slows your race toward the prize. You no longer ask, "Can I get away with this?" but rather, "Will this stand before him?" You fight the battles within not just for the sake of today, but for the sake of forever. Living with eternity in view is not about living in fear, but about living with purpose. It is about walking with the awareness that your life has meaning beyond your own story. Every word, every choice, every act of love is an investment into a kingdom that will never pass away. It is the understanding that when you give, you are not losing, you are storing treasure in a place where it will never be taken from you. When you forgive, you are planting seeds of mercy that will bloom in the presence of the King. When you obey, even in the smallest things, you are aligning yourself with the will of the one whose reign will never end. One day soon, this chapter of history will close and the King will return. The crowns and rewards given on that day will not be for the most famous or the most admired, but for the faithful, for those who lived as citizens of heaven while they were still on earth. Those who looked beyond the momentary pleasures and pains of this life and fixed their eyes on what is eternal will not be ashamed at his coming. So live now with that day before your eyes. Make every decision in the light of forever. Let the hope of eternity guide your steps, guard your heart, and shape your desires. For when you live this way, the day of judgment will not be a day of terror, but a day of joy, the day when the one you have lived for all along will look at you and say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." And that joy will not fade, for it will be the beginning of eternity with him.